Hello, good people, this is Daniel, and I'm loath to inform you it's a tense day in the kingdom. Even so in the dungeon. The dungeon is my art studio where I produce oil paintings by means of what I call stipple glazing. And I'm just tapping out all over the place. Here are some examples of my work. I build up sort of ghost images from a mid-tone ground. But don't worry, this isn't about ghosts.
Thank goodness.
It's about still life painting.
Right on.
I set up objects in front of me, comprising a scenario, then respond to it by painting from life.
That's right.
You see, I'm a visual storyteller. Having said that, you'd be correct to assume that the setup process is of utmost importance. What follows is one specific example of that process. This subject is one that I had thought about for quite some time. I have to do that sometimes, let things simmer, hopefully get richer and denser as a concept. Of course, inviting subconscious flow. The underlying idea was to have plastic dinosaurs confronting paper dragons for the first time, arguing over who the real dragons are.
My goodness.
I have a fondness for paleontology, and this was something I just couldn't resist. So, don't be expecting a fruit bowl.
Dang.
I appreciate a fine fruit bowl, but as mentioned, I've taken a path of visual storytelling. Ooh, I like that. There's a primeval landscape if I've ever seen one. That background cloth perfectly suggests a sky filled with falling debris and ash. But I'm getting ahead of myself.
Whoa, Nelly.
See where this is going? Major points for anyone who's figured it out. That's right. I'm sure you've guessed it. In the world of paleontological art, it's a cliche to have that volcano smoldering in the background. So, of course, I had to do that.
Well, that's just fascinating.
This red bottle perfectly represents my volcano.
Oh, sweet thing.
But what put this over the top was when I conceived of how to represent the lava. We're looking for what is special. That's the point that I stopped simply thinking about it and decided to bring this painting into existence.
Fine, what is special?
I'm asked on occasion why I use ribbons in my designs, and sometimes it's simply to include a lyrical line in the composition. But in this case, it is a beautiful metaphor. A visually interesting, creative means of representing lava flows.
I can dig it.
Isn't it lucky I have so many choices on hand? For me, too many options for setups is optimal. Perfect.
That's right.
Not surprisingly, I have surrounded myself with props. I've accumulated them over the years and continue to do so.
Cool stuff.
They're also stored in boxes and bins, tucked away here and there in the dungeon, and sprinkled throughout the house. It's also quite common for me to construct a prop that doesn't exist.
I heard that.
I'll do whatever it takes to fulfill my artistic ideas. My kingdom still lifes are fundamentally about ideas.
Right on.
Of course, combining this with my highest possible level of paint manipulation skill. It's my intention to demonstrate that still life can be an exciting, vibrant, relevant genre. I want to demonstrate my imagination.
Why not?
My creativity.
Show enough.
I hope to present all of this with visual drama.
Okay then.
And reward my viewers with a sense of deep satisfaction. My still lifes are heavily anchored in fundamental design. That is to say, they are initially approached abstractly, considering shape, movement, rhythm, and balance, all fundamentals of design. Then, in my case, I present this in a representational manner. I do not, however, value the notion that representational art and abstract art are at odds with one another.
Show don't.
I've explored non-objective abstraction and, of course, representational work, but also all sorts of things in between.
There's no noise for that.
Many different styles, different genres, and I've found value in them all. As someone who has always been able to recognize and value multiple points of view,
What? Crazy talk.
my intent is to take what is useful from anywhere, from everywhere, and then, of course, to use that for my particular purposes. So instead of taking a side in this so-called argument, the argument that this is real art and that is not, I'll be busy combining these positions into artwork that hopefully is rich, dense, and powerful. In other words, artistically speaking, and of course in this case, with regard to painting, why can't we have it all?
You go too far.
Of course, the reality is, you will encounter those along the way who wish to sort of confine you, to keep you in your lane. And this might happen for a variety of reasons,
There are limitations.
none of which are likely there to benefit you.
Small thinking.
I still encounter this on occasion, and my response is to brush these people aside and get on with it.
Hear, hear.
The pursuit of art is beautiful, but incredibly difficult. You don't need any negativity around you at all. Eliminate it whenever and wherever you can. Don't kill someone, but otherwise, eliminate it.
That sounds about right.
At counterpoint to this mentioned negativity, I think people can recognize very well when an artist is having fun in their studio. Not like me, giggling and snickering all the time in private, no less, but more simply that they are into their work. This positive energy translates to viewers and listeners, or whatever the case may be. This is easily relatable to a performance artist being excited on stage, say, but I think it also translates to the production artist in their studio in complete isolation.
You poor thing.
Of course, this is ultimately dependent upon one's personality. I don't think Kathy Kollwitz was doing much giggling, but I don't know. Now back to the great dinosaur dragon debate.
Enter the dragon!
Don't yell that. The dinosaurs will hear and you'll just make things worse.
Enter the dragon.
Well, that's more like it. This is quite a face-off, though at present it's a bit one-sided. I'm not sure that one paper dragon can handle this.
So back on the hunt.
I think I'll bring in some reinforcements. That's not what I'm talking about. Talking about this. I could definitely be assured if this thing had my back. And from an aesthetic point of view, these objects all relate well to one another. They complement one another. But I think I'll add this little guy as the final touch. He may be small, but he's tough. One final check with my frame of reference. and we're done. The title of the painting to be, It Was Bound to Happen. I assure you I will do my utmost best to de-escalate this situation. Hopefully, all parties can return home intact, though not one seems willing to give a miserable inch. Fine. Stand there if you like.
So be it.
On behalf of myself and these stubborn beasts, I want to thank you so much for viewing. And of course, for visiting the deep depths of my deepness.